Well, hey everyone, and welcome to this week's video. Thank you all so much for the wonderful response that you gave us to last week's video and our quiz on which direction you'd like the channel to take. You voted overwhelmingly in favour of C, to mix it up a bit between Mongolia and our Caribbean cruising. And I've got to say that result really surprised us. We didn't expect so many viewers of a sailing channel to be interested in Mongolia.
Yeah, we're so excited to kick it off this week with our first Mongolian video.
Yeah, so we don't get confused. It's now Tuesday, the 8th of August 2017. So we're virtually in real time currently, and we are seated in the beautiful Gandan Buddhist monastery in the capital city of Mongolia, Ulaanbaatar.
Our regular sailing series is about a year behind, but we'll be trying our best to catch up next few months.
Yeah, we will. We'll do our best to bring it up to real time. I know how valuable that is to us and you, and we're a year behind, but we've got some great content in the can, so to speak, and we're looking forward to editing that and bringing it out as soon as possible. So by way of a bit of background, when Zaya and I agreed to launch a YouTube sailing channel at the beginning of this year, we agreed that the primary subject would be the catamaran we sail, the Tiki 38. I felt that boat needed a voice on YouTube. It was such a basic but effective tool for blue water cruising that I wanted to give the Tiki 38 a voice on YouTube. We didn't really plan for the channel to be about us, but pretty soon after launching the first one or two videos, we started getting questions like this one from Jim Webster. Now Jim asks, how did two Mongolian girls and a Kiwi happen to be in South Africa? What was the reasoning for two Mongolian girls wanting to sail the oceans, especially coming from a landlocked country? Jim, so thanks for that. Not a word about the catamaran. So in response to questions that we've received like that and your response last week, this video is about Mongolia, and we're pretty excited to bring it to you. But in the meantime, for those of you that came here to watch some sailing, I'm really sorry there's not going to be a great deal of it this week, but come back next week. We're going to be returning to the Caribbean and the beautiful island of Bequia, where we really started to have a great time. In the meantime, we have looked at how we're going to deal with our past here and sharing it with you. And unfortunately, it's going to stretch out over more than one video. We simply can't cram it all in, and we really want to share some of the history, culture, geography, climate. There's so much about Mongolia that's so unique, and we know it'll be of interest to many of you. So we're looking forward to sharing that, and we're going to kick that off right away with this week's episode. In the meantime, sailors, come back next week.
Next week.
I first arrived in Mongolia in spring 2011. I've been involved in mineral exploration in Australia, Papua New Guinea, Philippines, New Zealand, Turkey, and Kyrgyzstan. But it wasn't until I came to Mongolia that I really wanted to stop moving around, at least for a little while. 2011, Mongolia had the fastest growing economy in the world. It had been enjoying a booming period since becoming the first peaceful democracy in Central Asia following the fall of the Iron Curtain in 1990. So there's no stopping these guys. Nomad lifestyle still seems to run pretty thick in their veins. We broke a stabiliser arm on the front end of the Land Cruiser. It's a bracket, and also pinched a brake line to the rear right wheel. So we're leaking brake fluid, but they've pinched off the end of the brake line, and now they're going to weld the bracket up on the stabiliser arm using the drill rig. The snow started to fall. Just had a pretty traditional Mongolian on the side of the road lunch. They really do enjoy their food, and every time we pull up there's always biscuits come out, bread comes out, tinned fish. That's while the big pot boils, and when the big pot's brought to the boil, in go handfuls of meat, bones mostly. And they eat everything with their hands and sharp knife, and eat everything clean down to the bone, marrow the lot. Then the pasta goes in the stock that's left, and we all have lovely soup. And it really does feel like the right food for this sort of climate. They're obviously extremely adapted and fit and healthy people. It's wonderful to be with them. I'm going to miss this. Maybe not the snow. How's this for a beauty? Russian truck, a Zil. All the comforts are home in there. Maintenance free, aren't they, these ones?
Automatic tyre inflation.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So that compressor goes down the axle.
Pretty clever, isn't it? Gaz has come over to come and help. There's the Zil, bogged to the axles. And of course Gaz, it's got bogged, but at least they got the winch onto it. They're going to pull each other out. Get this. So they're both bogged and they're pulling each other closer together. I mean, this can only end up in one thing unless someone can get some traction at some point. Looks like the Zil's on the move. Now what? They got the Zil out. Now they're going to pull this one out. It's a massive winch. They got the border guard helping. Very smart. Come around the back. My goodness, I hope our trip out isn't going to be like this. We've still got another 50 odd K to go. At that time, all I knew about Mongolia was Genghis Khan, nomads living in yurts, camels, and a vast desert called the Gobi. So when I stumbled off the Mongolian Airlines flight 6 years ago, the first thing that struck me was how proud of their rich culture the people are. How well it was surviving westernisation, and how stunning the women are. I wondered why we in the West knew so little about this country. And to find that out, we have to dig into Mongolia's past and the history of Genghis Khan, or Chinggis Khan as he's known throughout Asia. 800 years ago, Chinggis Khan founded the largest land empire the world has ever seen. At its peak, it was 4 times larger than the Roman Empire. The story of how a small band of nomadic people grew to conquer the world is fascinating, and women play a big part in its success. Now, in more recent times, Mongolia has been occupied by China and Russia. Under Chinese rule, much of the history of Mongolia was destroyed, and the story of Chinggis himself has been given a distinctly Chinese twist. which is still taught in China today. For example, if you visit the Great Wall in China, as we did last year, there is no reference to the Mongolians at all. This is pretty amusing, as not only is Mongolia China's northern neighbour, the wall was built by the Chinese to try and keep them out of China. So China is trying to rewrite history in its own image, and there's nothing unusual about that. But due to a fortunate bit of history in the 1930s, a Russian scholar working in a Chinese library managed to smuggle out a book which turned out to be a gold mine of Mongolian history. And we have a copy of that book right here. It's since been translated into English and has famously become known as The Secret History of the Mongols. Genghis began his conquests in the 13th century by uniting disparate Mongolian tribes and engaging in strategic military campaigns over their neighbours. Once a village fell, the most beautiful women were presented to the Khan and his 4 sons. The Khan himself fathered hundreds of children. His sons, well, as one account has it, one of his sons is thought to have had a whopping 40 sons of his own, and one of his grandsons had 22 legitimate sons and would add 30 virgins to his harem each year, so goodness knows how many children he had. Y chromosomes are only passed from father to son, so that means the Y chromosome is a direct record of a male's patrilineage. That's plenty of opportunity for Khan's Y chromosome to rampantly spread through the population, leaving a genetic legacy that is still present in an incredible number of men today. As much as 0.5% of all men alive today have an almost identical Y chromosome to the great Khan himself. That means 1 in 12 of the whole population of Asia and 1 in 200 of the whole population of the world is directly descended from Genghis Khan. That's about 16 million men alive today, and over 100 of you watching this video. The secret history tells us that Genghis was not the barbarian that Hollywood has led us to believe. Aided by his chief wife, he was a great strategist. Rather than decimate peoples, he made a few high-profile sacrifices to avoid bloodshed when conquering the next village. He passed laws that gave women more rights than most, and imposed taxes and trading rather than enslavement. The Mongol Empire at its peak spanned from Poland in the west to Korea and Java in the east. This blending of the beautiful European and Southeast Asian genes has given rise to a spectrum of genetics which seems to have a sweet spot right here in Mongolia.
Well guys, hope you enjoyed this week's episode. Toya is going to organize a shaman visit for us. So we tried to bring the camera and bring you guys along too. Fingers crossed. In other news, our niece Zaya going to join us for a YouTube live. So get your questions ready. We're looking forward to connect with you live.
Absolutely, guys. So we've given you some warning this time, so no excuses. Get your questions ready, and yeah, we do look forward to having a one-to-one chat live. We're going to be doing that as soon as we can arrange it, certainly within the next 2 weeks or so. Yeah.
Next week.
In the meantime, I think Zaya's done a great job doing this closing with me. She's dealing with the flu right now and putting on a brave face. All right. And in yet other news, Luckyfish is currently on the hard stand in Florida. We're obviously back in Mongolia, and we're just sitting out the hurricane season. We are booked to return to Luckyfish early November. We're going to do a little bit of work on the hard stand there before putting her back in the drink, and then we're heading to the Bahamas, and then after that, who knows? In the meantime, guys, we'd like to take this opportunity to thank new patrons Hamish, Doug, Jason, Tor and Oliver. It's because of patrons like you that make Lucky Fish Productions sustainable, So please, if you haven't done so already, consider donating as little as $1 a video and become part of the Luckyfish story. If you enjoy our productions, feel free to like, comment and sub below. In the meantime, until next week, thank you for watching. Bye.